All right. Theoretically, we're live.
Yes, we are live.
No, no one's clock is off. We're just late.
Yeah.
We're just here really late today. Incredibly late. Can anybody hear
Mhm.
us? Because I don't know, the mics were not working very well. And I haven't done this in a while, so you guys have to let me know. Let me see if I can adjust this mic a little bit here. Move the lapel mic down. You're not supposed to have it showing
Yeah, no.
when you're doing lives of this stature. So
Yeah.
I don't know if our mic's working very well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anybody have
Yeah.
any beat on the audio? Okay, is the audio
Yeah.
decent? I'm not sure what's going on though, but this is why iPhones are garbage. I'm trying to use the continuity camera, and I don't think it's working. Let me see if I plug this in here. Test. Is it working now? Can you hear me now? Good. All right.
Okay,
Maybe it's working now.
All right,
I think
cool.
it's working now. Me and Tori got the good quality Rode mic hooked up, but
Yeah, we do.
I have it hooked up into the iPhone so I can use it with my MacBook for the stream. We're gonna fix the streaming setup at some point because I'm gonna try to do some more of it. Anyway, 16 people here at 4:30.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
crazy. Wow.
I know. Yeah.
So
it's
many
building
people.
up.
What's up, everybody? It's been a
what's up?
while.
Yeah, what's up, everyone? What's up, Pete? What's up, Sean? Yeah, holding it down.
So we got a lot of stuff we can talk about. I mean, really, this is a Q&A because me and Tori, we've been doing the pre-recorded podcast, and I wanted a chance for people to ask questions like we were doing when we used to stream.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. Namely, the S26 Ultra just keeps getting worse right now. And one of those problems is that we reported this morning. Originally, the S26 Ultra was rumored to have 60-watt charging, and we discovered a regulatory filing in China. When I say we, SammyGuru, we published it exclusively this morning, that shows it was certified with 45-watt charging. So I don't know, maybe no 60-watt charging, which is not great because I just bought, or I agreed to buy 2,000 65-watt chargers to put in the mystery boxes for January. And so people are going to get 65-watt chargers now, and they may not really be that useful because you may not have faster charging. I mean, it still charges at 45 watts for you.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a useless item, but I put it in there because of the rumors about 60-watt charging, and apparently that may not happen. So that is very disappointing. One UI 8 schedule is about to start in terms of stable rollout. It's a week away. S25 series is going to get One UI 8, so Tori will be enjoying some One UI 8.
Looking forward to it.
Tori will be able to check out some One UI 8. And then the S24 Ultra is supposed to get it the following week. The folds are not supposed to start getting it until October. So, the Fold 6, the Flip 6, all that. Fold 7 obviously already launched with it, but the other ones, and the tablets aren't supposed to start getting it until like November or something.
Why so late?
Because the tablets are always neglected. Of course, if you have the Tab S11, which I have right here, it already has One UI 8. But if you don't have the Tab S11, then you're going to be waiting a long time. Even the Tab S10 Ultra is not getting it until like November 1st. So, yes, the S25 is first in terms of the stable rollout. It starts September 18th. Of course, again, that's based on a leaked schedule from Turkey. All the regions are slightly different. So 18th is when it will start, but it will probably start in Korea and the US first. By the way, the office is an absolute mess.
Yeah.
I got to clean some stuff in here. This is what happens when you try to make videos for 2 channels and fully edit a website all day. Not an easy thing to do. So I'm trying to make content for my channel and SammyGuru. By the way, since people are here, some people are here anyway, some people ask what's going on with my channel and SammyGuru channel. Well, we're dual streaming this to both channels, first of all. I'm kind of changing the format of content on my channel to more general, like hardware reviews. I'm going to do more general hardware for tech. And then we're going to put all of our usual Samsung software stuff over at SammyGuru. So if you're not already subscribed to the SammyGuru channel, you can go check out the SammyGuru channel here. and kind of take a look at that and see if you want to subscribe. That's where we're going to put all the stuff I've been doing for years. There's going to be less daily software content on my channel because I'm going to do more hardware stuff. It's impossible to make daily hardware videos. An Echo? I don't know. I mean, maybe. I don't think there should be for headphones. I don't have the volume turned up. Does anybody else hear an echo? I don't hear it. It doesn't seem too bad once I check it on the device. We can take a look though and see.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, no. I think
it doesn't seem too bad. Well, let me know if someone else has an echo. I didn't seem like it. It's too bad. What's up, Colin? How's it going, man?
How are you? What's up, Colin? How you been, man?
I'm really going to invest some time into getting the live stream set up at some point because I'll probably do more Q&As, especially on the SammyGuru channel. So again, if you're not subscribed to SammyGuru, go check it out. We're dual streaming to that channel as well. A lot of the software stuff that I do every day, there's going to be daily update videos over there. I'm not stopping doing Samsung content. I just want to do more hardware on my own channel. So that's the only reason we're changing things. And that gives people a more dedicated place to also kind of collaborate on Samsung stuff and just, you know, the community around the website. So the branding is all Samsung because the website's already all Samsung. So, but if you like general tech, I'm still going to do a lot of phone reviews and stuff on my personal channel. And all the Samsung stuff will still be there. You can find it over there, and of course on the website as well. I don't know what other questions people have. We have a lot of interesting stuff going on. Samsung just keeps seeming to disappoint people with this S26 stuff. It seems like the camera upgrades are not as good as we originally thought. Like I said, 45 watt charging now instead of 60 watt charging. That's disappointing. Not a lot of good news with the S26 Ultra. But I will say, a lot of you guys know Ice Universe. He leaks, you know, Samsung stuff. He's always very negative around the time the iPhone comes out, and some people don't understand that. He's very useful for leaks, but he tries to make money off of selling iPhone cases or affiliate links. So he's trying to push the iPhone right now so he can make some money. And then, of course, when the S26 series comes out in January, he'll start saying great things about the S26. You know, people got to make their money, you know, but that's not what I like to do. I like to give you guys a mystery box. If you want to order or not, that's fine. I make money regardless. I don't have to say the product is good or not. But that's kind of what Ice Universe does. And you can look at his tweets. I'm not making it up. Go back and look at his past posts on X. He always says positive things about the iPhone, negative stuff about Samsung in September. And then he'll have a bunch of positive comments about the S26, no matter what Samsung puts out. And to be honest with you, if Samsung releases a phone with 45 watt max charging and they don't upgrade the camera sensor, I'm going to tell you that it's not really great and you should probably buy it, even though that will lose me money because I would love everyone to buy Mystery Box. I make a lot of affiliate money. That's how we keep the site going. But I'm not going to tell you to go buy it if they don't put out a good product. And who knows? We don't know fully yet, but that certainly could be the case. We've seen some disappointing things so far in terms of the last few days. Ice Universe did not find the charging stuff. We found that. Our editor-in-chief, Sumit, he found that regulatory filing from China that says that it's certified with 45 watts. So that bad news is not from him. So you can believe that. That seems to be, at least in China, the case. So, of course, things could always change. Tab S10 Lite is a good purchase. Sure, if you just use your tablet for like reading and basic media, I think it's a good purchase. Obviously, it's not really that great, I don't think, for gaming if you do intensive gaming, but if you just watch videos and you browse the web and read, it's a good tablet. Yeah, the S10 Lite's good. S10 FE is good if those are your main things. I love the Tab S11, and I tweeted this yesterday. Whatever, I still call it tweets. I posted on X. This is a great tablet, but it's so expensive, and you need to really buy the keyboard with it. It ends up being like close to $1,000 unless you're trading something in, and that's just a lot of money, man. Like, I mean, the new Dex is great, but that's really expensive. Most people don't do enough with their tablet. That's laptop money right there.
Yeah, you can't even get the keyboard yet, right?
Yeah.
You have to wait, no?
Yeah. The Echo. Oh, hollow? I don't know. Maybe this mic should be working, actually. I mean, it looks like it's working. Test. Maybe the mic is not. Hold on. Let's see. Test, 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 test. I don't know. Maybe this Rode mic is not connected. But next time I'll try to make sure it's set up a little better. We'll see how often me and Tori can do this. Maybe every 2 weeks we'll try to do it.
Yeah.
I'll try to double check the setup next time. We'll see how it goes. Nothing against anyone particular, but I don't like when reviewers switch back and forth. Yeah, man. I mean, lots of people do that, unfortunately, because they're trying to make money off of the affiliate sales. I mean, I'm very transparent about how we make money off affiliate sales. We offer you guys an incentive if you want to buy the phone, but I don't tell you to buy it to get the box. You buy it or you don't, but if you're going to buy it, you might as well buy it from us because I'm going to give you a bunch of accessories for your S26. That's my selling point. Yeah. But I don't tell you should buy it or not. A lot of people will buy it regardless because there's a lot of Samsung fans, and some people need to upgrade their phone. So even if it's not a huge upgrade, we still will make money off the mystery boxes. But if you don't like the phone, if it's not a big upgrade, I'm not going to tell you that it's a massive upgrade to go out and buy it because the fact of the matter is sometimes it's not. Like last year with the Z Fold 6, I told people not to buy it. Yeah, and guess what? They didn't. And we didn't make very much money off of that launch. We didn't sell many mystery boxes. It was fine. But I mean, the Z Fold 6 was not a good device to buy unless you really needed a new phone because we knew the Z Fold 7 was going to be such a huge upgrade. And not many people did buy the Z Fold 6. Yeah, have to make his money. The same with Samsung because of all the Samsung parts and Apple phones. Yeah. Well, yeah, Samsung does make a lot of the parts. One of the other questions also, by the way, that Larry brought up, Larry didn't put it in the chat, but he asked me this before, or he was mentioning it to me on X. Apple put the anti-glare coating on all the iPhones, but Larry was mentioning to me that the difference between Samsung and Apple is that the coating put on the glass is not actually part of the display like it is with the Gorilla Glass, the Gorilla Armor. And so it might not be as good, and it might also wear away over time. So we'll have to see. I mean, obviously, I don't have an iPhone in hand yet because Apple doesn't send me anything reviewing this. No, I'm sure even if I start doing more general tech, they're not going to send me units. You got to have millions of subscribers, and I'm okay not having millions of subscribers. But once I get one next week, I'll certainly compare and see how that is. Someone asked me which iPhone I was getting. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Colin asked. I am going to buy an iPhone Air tonight. I'm pissed. I have to wake up at 5 in the morning, Arizona time. Me and Tori were just talking about that. Yeah. I do not like waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, Arizona time, because, geez, I'm not really a guy who gets up at 5 in the morning. But I will order iPhone Air and iPhone 17 Pro Max. I don't know if I'm going to get the regular iPhone 17. I thought about it to compare it to the S25 FE and the S25 Plus. So I don't know. The iPhone 17 is actually kind of compelling this year. Usually I don't buy the base iPhone, you know, what some people call the peasant iPhone in the industry. It's not really being rude to anyone. It's just what Flossie Carter calls it. But I might buy it this year. It's kind of interesting because they put the 120 hertz on there. They put the anti-glare coating. Might be interested to see what's going on there. I did not know that, Pete. I've been looking for a better option for the keyboard case. It's absolutely insane that Samsung didn't release the Pro keyboard
that's crazy.
With the device. Let me tell you guys a little bit of insider knowledge. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not. But during the media briefing, if not, Samsung doesn't watch this anyway, so they'll never know. In the media briefing, they told us that it likely wouldn't release until January 2026, the Samsung first-party keyboard. They're working on a redesign, and they kind of showed us a little outline of what the redesign looks like. It looks like the Apple Magic Keyboard for the iPad. So just prepare yourselves, right? This new S Pen looks like an Apple Pencil, and the new Magic Keyboard or Pro Keyboard, whatever they're going to call it, they're working on for the Tab S11 Ultra. It kind of looks like the Apple Magic Keyboard. So yeah, don't tell anyone that I told you that. I'm probably not supposed to probably mention that, but regardless. It'll probably be $350.
Oh yeah.
Just like in the past. And so if you buy the Tab S11 Ultra and the keyboard, it's probably like $2K, which is just crazy to me. Any problems with Samsung tablets connecting to Wi-Fi at very slow rates? Forget network. I haven't had any with the S11, but I did have that kind of issue, I think, maybe with my S10 FE. I had to delete the SammyGuru network a couple times, not my home network, but the one in the office. And so I don't actually know what that issue could be caused from. Could it be caused from the actual hardware? I guess it's possible. But it only happened to me a few times, and it never happened again. So it could also be like a, like a software issue. Some people said that One UI Beta 7 still has a few bugs. Yeah, there's a few bugs, not a lot though. I've had a couple of like instances where certain apps would like force close, but those could be more to do with the third-party developers not optimizing for One UI 8 yet, which honestly, Apple's last beta of iOS 26 had some bugs too with the same problem, force closing apps. Some of those were like first-party apps though. I had like photos close on my iPhone 16 Pro Max on their beta. So you're not like Samsung's doing anything that's not done by everyone else. But I still think it's going to release on the 18th. I think they got to push it out. It's time to get it going.
Yep, they do.
They activate a certain device when in reality they use it as a second device. Yeah, Colin, lots of people don't really use the devices because it's really hard. I mean, I lose my mind trying to keep track of using a new device, and I don't review everything right now. I only done Samsung. It's really hard to keep track and switch your SIM and switch your stuff. So it's a lot easier just to make up BS. Say you switch to the S25 FE for a while and you don't.
Yeah.
Whatever. Which is why I'm kind of hesitant going back to doing general tech because I'm going to review a lot more phones. But I enjoyed reviewing some different Android phones, so I think I'll have fun doing it. But it is a lot of work. Hey, Pete, do you have a link to that Nilkin case? Yeah, I've used their cases for a while. And actually, as a interesting aside, some of our mystery box cases that we get are actually whitelisted versions of the Nilkin cases. I buy them in bulk, wholesale from Nilkin. So, again, I don't know how I'm supposed to say that or not. It's probably in a legal agreement that I shouldn't say that, but whatever. Yeah, so if you link it to me. Hey, Kia, how are you? How's it going? Colin's pre-ordering from the parking lot. I'll be pre-ordering. Nice. I'll be pre-ordering from half asleep for sure.
Yeah.
I will roll over, hopefully wake up at 4:55 and get it going.
Yeah.
Trackpad. The Pro keyboard does have a trackpad.
Yep.
And hey, honestly, the Magic keyboard design on the iPad is pretty good. It's probably going to be better than the old Pro keyboard. But the crazy thing is, Samsung's keyboard is like I think even a little more money than than the ones that Apple sells. Isn't Nilkin just rebranded Alibaba stuff? But some of that stuff is actually good. And a lot of that stuff is just other companies white label that and they just change a couple little things about it. Nilkin has very good cases. Like they actually are very quite good. Considering the price is like $5 to $7. I think I should get the iPhone 17 Pro or Pixel 10 Pro. I mean, of course, I like Android better. So if I can only have one phone, I'm never using an iPhone as my main driver. I just can't stand the limitations and the notification UI in iOS 26. So I wouldn't be able to use an iPhone as my main phone. But in terms of hardware, if you don't care about that, some people don't. If you're not like, I really can't stand iOS's notification system and the lack of a proper back button and all that stuff that makes me mad, if that doesn't bother you, the hardware is really, really close. I don't know. I might lean towards the iPhone 17 Pro if it was just hardware because the Pixel 10 does get a little hot. I already told you guys. If you're just looking at hardware, the camera, and let me say this too, though. It really comes down to in the camera department, do you care about video or photo or both? Because the iPhone has always been better at video than every Android phone for the most part. They're better than Samsung at video at the top level. The Pixel is better at photo, I think, though, and the iPhone 17 Pro is probably going to be better at video. So the camera even comes down to what do you care about more? Do you care about photos or videos the most? I don't know. I mean, I definitely am someone who cares about both, but video is more important to me because at least when I use my iPhone, I use that a lot for my B-roll camera because I edit on a MacBook Pro and I use AirDrop just to drop the footage. It's just easier. If I was using a Windows machine, then I wouldn't care as much about using the iPhone as my B-roll cam. But the problem is Windows machines don't get the best battery life under heavy workloads. If they did, I'd switch. I'd rather use a Samsung laptop. But there's no Samsung laptop that has the same kind of video editing prowess with the same battery life. The cases, they might look generic, but they look. But most people don't care necessarily about having a crazy looking case.
Yeah, no.
If it costs $90, I mean, certainly Nomad, Kadabe, UAG, they look better, but they also cost $50 to $100. Not everyone wants to spend that much money. They perform fine. The Nilkin cases perform great, and that's what some people will care about. You know, if you want, they have good drop protection. They don't look crazy. What else? You saw an article about the Nilkin keyboard thing. I'll have to look at that and see, because I've been on the fence about buying the Samsung Slim keyboard for my Tab S11 or 11 Ultra because I like using this, but I don't want to buy the Slim keyboard because it sucks. It doesn't have a trackpad, and then turn around and buy the Pro one that Samsung releases in January, because then I spend $400 on keyboards. So even for me, that's crazy. Like,
that is a lot.
I'm not going to get that money back from making videos on the Tab S11. So even for me, that's like throwing money down the drain. I can't make that money back on content. So it's not going to happen. S25 Ultra Nilkin MagSafe case, yeah, it's good. I like their cases. I've had no problems with them. And like I said, we white label some of them and use them in the mystery boxes. I always test the stuff we get for the mystery boxes to make sure it actually works. Tori can tell you, because we threw away a lot of stuff this time that wasn't. I ended up getting screen protectors for the Z Fold 7 that people didn't cut right, and I had to throw them in the trash because they weren't cut to the inner screen properly. I always test the stuff that we get for the mystery boxes, and sometimes that means throwing stuff away. And so the Nilkin cases have been pretty good overall. Google Play system update. Yeah, we have an article, I think, SammyGuru. Let me see if I can find it. SammyGuru. We always post an article detailing what's in the system updates, so you guys can always check that out. Here's the one for August if you want to check it out, Sean. Vinay and Sumit, they always keep up with that. They do a great job. So there it is right there.
That did you.
The August Play System update right there. You can detail everything that's new there. Do I think Steve Jobs is one of the most geniuses of our time? I do think Steve Jobs was a genius. I mean, at the end of the day, without the original iPhone, a lot of smartphone stuff that's happened wouldn't have happened. You got to give Apple their due. I mean, obviously Android was doing some things in parallel, but the iPhone really like opened the craze of smartphones as, you know, a UI and how we use smartphones in general. You know, you got to give them their due. They really started the popularity. I don't know if they would have taken off in the same way if you just had, you know, the original G1, if you had the original Android devices out there, because there were other devices out there, you know, like the Sidekick and stuff, that were going in the direction of smart devices, but they weren't really pushing it the way that Apple did when the first iPhone came out. So iPhone, as many say, intentionally made their older phones lag. Very possible. That's very possible. I won't lie. I mean, I'm on the beta though, so I can't say my phone is laggy just because they're releasing a new one. Their entire beta program has been laggy for the iOS 26. No one can say that Apple has really stable software now. It's not true. Don't let anyone tell you that story. That's just not the case. I don't think anyone can say that anymore. Their betas are very, 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 very laggy as well, just like Samsung. They had a lot of bugs this time on their beta. They had to put they also swapped the power and the volume buttons as well, Larry. I don't know if you noticed that, which is very, very annoying, because now none of the cases for the Tab S10 Ultra fit the Tab S11 Ultra. And I had a Tab S10 Ultra. I mean, obviously for this little one, which is the one that I'm going to use the most, the 11-inch, I didn't have one of these because they didn't release an 11-inch last year. So I don't really have, I can't really think about reusing cases, but for the Ultra, I have a few cases I could reuse, but now I cannot. Sometimes that happens, Pete, where you get one Play System update and it's like a small one, and then you reboot it, and then you get a bigger one that's like, you know, 40 or 50 megs, and then they flash that one. I don't know why that happens. Maybe Google and Samsung do it like they prepare the base of the update and then they flash all the important stuff there. That could be the case, I suppose. So what does everybody think about what does everyone think about the S26 so far? S26 Pro, S26 Edge, and S26 Ultra. What does everyone think about that so far? I mean, I'm curious if anyone thinks they're going to switch from the Ultra.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like my S25.
Anyone going to switch from the S26 Ultra or from an Ultra to an Edge or a Pro? It's going to be interesting. I mean, Samsung is not really giving us all those greatest upgrades there that we want. Yes, Larry, there you go. That's a good summary there of what's there. I also made a video on the iPhone Air versus the Edge, which I was very proud of. That was the S25 Edge. I made that video. It's the last video on my personal channel. What's better, the iPhone or Samsung? Well, I mean, you're talking to a guy that owns a channel called SammyGuru, but I am trying to be more objective because I am trying to do more general tech on my channel. So to answer the question from my non-biased point of view, since obviously I do love One UI, it really depends on what you want, right? I mean, iPhone, the 17, honestly, and the Air are some nice looking hardware, but there's a couple of things that they don't do that Android does very well, namely, not much customization with iOS. I mean, they still have a couple of tricks here and there, but it's not as open as Android in general. Also, like I said, for the iPhone, they do video a lot better than Android. That's my personal opinion, being someone that does a lot of video work. The S25 Ultra is fine, but it doesn't do as well with autofocus and stuff like that if you want to use it for video purposes. If you care about just simplistic hardware and nice looking design, there's nothing wrong with Apple, but a lot of the UI stuff is what drives me away from it. They make it more difficult to customize the phone for exactly your needs, right? Apple tries to make it so that they set it up so that it works for everybody and no one has to do much work to figure out how to use it. But then they also take away the options for the people who want to dig deeper for them to do that in a very simple way, which I think Samsung and Android in general, they do really well. They do really well when you want to dig deeper, you can, and you can change things in a very simple way. Right? Like Tori, he doesn't necessarily customize everything on his phone, but Android is still easy to use.
No. I mean, like, to also answer this from like a general person who just averagely messes around with phones. I don't know. I see that iPhone, like everyone wants it for the ecosystem. I think when you're like thinking about like your family and friends, a lot of those people just want you to have an iPhone for that. But in terms of customization, I don't do all the customization. I find Samsung to be really easy to use. The presentation is nice. I just end up liking it overall. But I am a little interested to see how the iPhone Air kind of compares to.
Yeah, I mean the Air is compelling, but it does have some features that are missing stuff that's on the Edge. I made that video, like I said yesterday, comparing them. And the Air is missing vapor cooling. It's missing a physical SIM slot. It's only got one camera versus two cameras on the Edge. The Edge has a larger battery. That doesn't mean it's going to have better battery life because Apple does pretty solid optimizations, obviously. The Edge has stereo speakers. The Air only has a single speaker, mono speaker. Yeah, so the Air is missing a lot of stuff that the Edge has. So we'll see. But I mean, it really comes down to, do you want to really customize your software a lot? For me, when it comes to Apple versus Samsung. Not seeing any reason to switch. Yeah, I mean, the one thing I've seen so far from the S26 Ultra leaks that I really am intrigued by is the Magic Flex Pixel technology that we talked about in the podcast a few weeks ago, where AI will digitally adapt your screen so that people can't see what you're looking at. Basically like a digital privacy screen protector. Samsung debuted this technology at CES last year, and I got to see it at their booth, and it's really cool. So that's the one thing that I would say is going to be a mind-blowing feature. But the fact that they're bringing that, but then not bringing the faster charging, not really upgrading the cameras in the way that we want, although the main camera is supposedly going to get f1.4, which is going to make a big difference for the low-light photos, but still, the sensor needs an upgrade, a more substantial upgrade. And the 3X also needs a more substantial upgrade. They're really just getting away with doing the bare minimum. I think, if they do this again in 2027 and they get rid of the S Pen, they're going to piss off everybody. They're going to drive a lot of people to Apple if they don't start upgrading, especially if they took the S Pen away as well. Thank God they're not doing that. The S Pen's coming back for the S26 Ultra. But if they do that on the S27 Ultra and they continue with this BS of doing iterative, the bare minimum, that's not going to make people super happy about that.
Yeah, no, because like I feel like the key things is camera, battery, camera, battery. As long as you're always updating those, you're going like the people are gonna come. Yeah, you're gonna have all these other fancy things that they're adding to it, but I think that to stay competitive with Apple, they gotta do the battery and the camera. And I feel like we're just kind of following.
And the charging goes with the battery.
Yeah,
you need faster charging.
Oh yeah, faster charging.
Because they didn't put a bigger battery this year either.
Mm-hmm.
And so we don't know yet fully about the silicon carbide stuff, but Apple didn't do that on the Air either, by the way. Some people thought the iPhone Air had silicon carbide. It does not. Mm-hmm. So, the iPhone Air battery life is definitely one of the suspect things. But Samsung's got to do more. Faster charging, bigger batteries. I mean, we talked about this on the podcast. I do like what Apple did with their strategy. They basically took the iPhone Air and made that their eye candy phone. Oh, they're like, if you want something that's sexy, buy this. But if you want something that has all the features and you don't care if it's thick and ugly, buy the Pro and the Pro Max. Mm-hmm. So they really distinguished who is this phone for and who are these phones for. Yep. Samsung did not do that with the Edge. No. First of all, they didn't even release it in January, so they didn't have a chance to compare it to the other phones in the lineup. Mm-hmm. But then when they unveiled it in May, they unveiled it like at a digital event, and they didn't really give people a reason to buy it and why it fit, how it fits into the lineup. Yeah. They didn't say, oh, well, this thing is sexy, but it has a lot of pro features. They basically just focused on the fact that they put the 200 megapixel camera from the Ultra into the Edge, and then it's thinner. Mm-hmm. But they didn't really focus on the beauty of the design. They didn't focus on the fact that this is for somebody who wants the pro camera, but they also want beauty. They don't want the whole kitchen sink. Mm-hmm. And then also the Ultra doesn't have all of those crazy features that Samsung could throw into it by making it a little bit thicker. They're going to thin the Ultra down again. The Ultra is going to be 0.3 millimeters thinner in 2026. They should just make it thicker. Apple made the iPhone 17 Pro Max. It's like 10 millimeters in thickness. But who cares? Why don't they just do that? Put the kitchen sink in there. Bring back the micro SD. Bring back the micro SD. Bring back the headphone jack. All that stuff we were naming on the podcast. They should bring it all back. Bring back the IR blaster. Bring back the magnetic stripe reading technology. Bigger battery. Bluetooth S Pen. And they say, okay, well, you want a phone that's got all that? Well, it has to be thick. It has to be heavy. It has to be ugly. Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't care.
Yeah, because that's everything I want.
That's what I want. Yeah, because now it's truly Ultra, and that's what I want. I'm buying the Ultra. I want Ultra features.
Yeah.
And then for the people who don't want that, you say, oh, well, we have the Edge over here. It's super thin. It looks beautiful. It's got a lot of the stuff over here, but it's a lot thinner. So you could buy that one. Mm-hmm. Now you have parity in the lineup. But right now, there's no parity. So Samsung really needs to figure out some parity here if they want to sell phones in January. We'll see how it goes.
No, agree.
I agree. You want to upgrade to the Z Fold 7? Now, the Z Fold 7 is a completely different story. There's a few things they could have done there, but that's a great phone. Samsung did something special there. Yeah. They still could do more. They should allow Bluetooth S Pen again, compatibility with the Fold. I still think they could get a bigger battery in there while maintaining it being reasonably thin. And I still think there's a few optimizations, but the Fold is quite a nice piece of hardware. I don't think anyone should have hesitance about upgrading to that. This is still my daily driver, by the way.
Yeah, no, like
my main sim is in here right now.
It's a very sexy phone.
I still love my Ultra, and obviously I got every Samsung phone in the world on my desk. This is the Edge, the Ultra, and the Fold, and I've got like an A56 and all kinds of crazy stuff. But this is my main sim is in the Fold. I still think the Fold is probably the best buy if you're going to buy a Samsung phone right now, because it's their pinnacle of technology and probably the best phone they made this year. I still love Samsung and One UI as well, which is why I want them to turn the hardware around, because no one makes better software than Samsung right now. And Apple is not even close, in my opinion. Plus, let's talk about AI. If you watch the Apple event like I did, they never mentioned AI one time. Because they don't have any AI. They got no AI platform on their operating system. And a lot of people were on Twitter and X making excuses for Apple. They're like, oh, they don't care about AI now. I'm sure they care about AI. No, AI is a big deal.
Because all the others are talking about AI. So yeah, they do. But I mean, wasn't it a bad launch?
Yeah, but they don't want to remind people that last year they ran all these advertisements telling people, oh yeah, you're going to get Apple Intelligence on your iPhone 16 as soon as you buy it. And then what happened is people bought it and they never got it. Intelligence, it still hasn't really rolled out. So they don't want to remind people about that, because then people will be like, well, what about that Apple Intelligence? Is that going to be on my iPhone 17? And they don't want to talk about that. So there's like, well, we just better not bring that up. Maybe people won't ask about it. You know, just let's just not mention it. Many features that they need to be available in Europe. Yeah, I agree. I don't know why Samsung makes all these features China exclusives. The only thing I can think is that in China, all these other Chinese phones have a bunch of crazy software features. Like they throw everything in the world in their software. So Samsung feels like they have to do that to compete, like the intelligent drag and drop and all those features. Yeah, but I agree. They should bring some of their best, craziest stuff to Europe and the US. You can always you can always let people just turn it off, right? I mean, it's not that hard. Just turn off the stuff. Offload it to Good Lock if you want. I don't care. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you, man. It is. The iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max are really nice hardware. As someone who does a lot of video, the Pro and the Pro Max are great buys for like YouTubers who are just like small creators, or even if you're someone who does this for a living like I do. Having those in your pocket, you don't have to carry around, you know, Sony A7 IV, which is what I use as my main camera, or even like my DJI, you know, Pocket 3. I can just carry my phone and take B-roll. That's a huge advantage. And Apple still does a really great job with video, for sure. That's the only thing I use my iPhone for, basically. After I do the comparisons and I use it and I do a little, you know, overview of it, I really use it mainly for just video. I don't like the iOS UI, and I can't stand the notifications, so I don't use it that much other than for video. Yeah, I don't believe the Air has all-day battery life. We'll find out. You don't say something has all-day battery life and then show a battery pack immediately.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
They're like, it has all-day battery life, but just in case it doesn't, maybe you should buy it. This battery pack is only $99. I mean, come on.
No.
You already spent $1,000.
I know. No, that should like come with, or it'd be like a deal with it. But yeah, I don't buy that as all day. And then like it'll be really hard to like just go throughout my day knowing that, oh man, my phone's about to die when I'm like probably on my way back home or trying to.
But Tori, here's the thing: what you don't understand is you don't just buy one battery pack. What you do is you buy 3 of them for $300, and you keep them all charged up. So that way, what you do is you get yourself a little pouch, like a little fanny pack, and you line up your 3 iPhone Air wireless chargers that you charge, and around 2 o'clock you put the first one on. Around 6 o'clock you put the second one on, and around 10 o'clock you put the third one on, and then you get through.
Yeah. So that's what they meant by all-day battery. Got it.
See, that turns the Air.
There's like a little small asterisk that say, hey, you really need to buy 3 battery packs.
That turns the Air into a $1,300 phone, because now you have to buy the phone plus 3 battery packs.
Yeah.
And if you do that, then you definitely have all-day battery life. Don't worry about it.
You gotta get the fanny pack.
How do you feel about the Samsung ecosystem? Apple no longer has ecosystem anymore, especially how big the Samsung. I mean, I love the Samsung ecosystem. Honestly, the only thing I wish, and this is not Samsung's problem, I wish that Intel would make processors that were efficient enough to do heavy workloads and still get great battery life, because Apple is still #1 there. Like my MacBook Pro can get 15 hours of battery life. I'm not joking. And that's with editing like 4K videos. I could edit an hour 4K video, do my other regular work, and I could get close to 12 to 15 hours of battery life with my M4 Max. That's insane. I have a Galaxy Book 5 Pro 360. I can get maybe 6 hours of battery life on that if I'm doing any kind of video editing. That's just, it's 30% of the battery life I get on the MacBook. Now, the Snapdragon laptops, I have a Galaxy Book 4 Edge. It gets great battery life, maybe like 10 hours, but it can't handle heavy video workflows. But I love the Samsung ecosystem. Aside from that, if they could dial in battery life on the laptops, maybe on the Book 5 Ultra or something, if they had an efficient enough processor to get me a good workload and good battery life, I would switch from my Mac in a heartbeat, because I use obviously Samsung phone, tablets, watches, everything else is Samsung except for my laptop. That's the only main device I use that's an Apple device. Deborah agrees. Indeed, they should throw the kitchen sink in the Ultra. Zero AI. No AI. Apple says they don't want to talk about AI.
No.
They said, guys, we talk about AI, and we don't want to talk about arithmetic. Because we told you guys the Air has 2 cameras, but it only has one.
Yeah.
1 plus 0 is 2. That's what we
Apparently,
said.
apparently.
And Tori, he teaches math. He knows that's
Yep.
not true.
No, it's not
1
true.
plus 0 is not 2.
It's not 2, guys.
Because they're like, oh, well, it does 2 times zoom, optical quality zoom, and it shoots the main camera. That's 2 cameras. I'm like, guys,
No,
that's not how it
one
works.
camera.
I saw an analogy from Quinn Nelson, who's another big YouTuber who does Apple stuff on X. He's like, that's just not the case. He's like, for the same reason that if you cut a pizza into 5 slices, that doesn't make it 5 pizzas, which is exactly what they did.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, look, this camera serves 2 purposes,
Mm-hmm.
so it's actually 2 cameras. That's not really how that works. In that case, my S25 Edge has like 5 cameras.
Yeah, right.
So you can't just start saying like, oh, this camera does a bunch of different stuff. That makes it that many different cameras.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not how life works. It's cool marketing speak, but that's not really how it works, man. Samsung next year, make their phones. Yes, I do think they're going to make them cheap too, but no, they're not going to get reverse wireless charging. I don't think that's not going to stick around. No one's been able to do that yet. I thought Apple was going to do it. There was rumors that Apple would have Qi 2 and reverse wireless charging, and they didn't find a way. They only left the Qi 2 MagSafe. There's no reverse wireless charging on the iPhones. So if Apple didn't find a way, Google didn't find a way, I don't see Samsung doing it. Yeah. The old Samsung under DJ Ko, maybe. But the new Samsung under TM Rowe, they're going to be like, why should we do that? That would be silly because that would cost too much money.
Yeah, so much money or work? No, I'm not going to do that.
Like,
they're going to buy it anyway, so just roll it out.
They're like, so much money. Why don't we just keep the same charging speed, the same cameras, the same processors?
They're going to buy it anyway.
Just increment the number by 1. S25, cross that out, put a 6 there. You know,
slap out 1 new color.
A couple of different colors.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll change a few case options.
Yeah.
And then we'll just sell
them.
Yep. What guys say? We're from Phoenix, Arizona. Very hot.
Very hot.
Very hot right here.
Let's see.
Bakersfield, I know it's probably pretty hot too. It's
right
over 100 degrees right now, though, for sure.
100 degrees.
Definitely not fall in Phoenix.
No. With the high of the week being 105. Well, it's a little bit better.
Oh, 105. That's not bad.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of.
Does it charge from the phone like the OG MagSafe battery? They didn't detail that. I guess we'll have to test it and see. I haven't seen any comments. I saw Tim Schofield on X. He bought the iPhone Air. I don't know. Maybe Apple gave him one or he tried it at the event. He put it on the back of his Pixel 10 Pro, and he said the iPhone Air battery pack was charging up the Pixel 10 Pro. I don't know if that's true or not, but he posted it on X. I saw it earlier. If someone wants to throw that link in the chat, if you see it, he posted a picture of it on his Pixel 10 Pro. So we'll definitely see. I'm curious about the battery pack too. They said that it doesn't work with the other iPhone models, which is really weird. So if you buy the iPhone Air battery and your friend has an iPhone 16 or 17, you can't let them use it. It doesn't work. Is Samsung going to update the Watch 8 Classic since notifications are delayed? Well, Whitney, let me tell you something about notifications on Samsung watches. They are sometimes a little finicky. Your notifications probably are they could be delayed a little from software, but more likely than not, you got to go into the Galaxy Wearable app and you've got to tune all of your notification settings, because typically if you get a lot of notifications and stuff like Gmail, the Wearable app will not push all those notifications, because I get hundreds of emails a day. And if it really pushed all of those, your battery on your watch would go down a lot. So they intelligently decide like what's important and what isn't. If you really want every single one of them, I have to do this every time I get a Samsung watch, and I did it on my Classic. You got to go in there and change the app settings, not only in the Galaxy Wearable app, but also in the settings on your phone, so that it notifies for every single notification. Otherwise, the Wearable app won't pull it. And you also have to take your app, all your categories, off of silent, because some of those categories and settings are set to silent. And if you do that, usually, if you do that and turn off like the battery optimization and all that stuff, you'll finally get all the notifications in real time on your watch. But it can be a little bit of a battle. But this is not specific only to Samsung. This appears to be a Wear OS kind of thing, which, as much as I hate to say it, is another place where Apple, in my opinion, has a little bit of an advantage, because when I've used an Apple Watch, that never happens on the Apple Watch. You don't have to change anything, and you still get automatic notifications for everything. but you can definitely fix it to where it will work. Who do you think will be the next CEO for Apple? That's a good question. I don't know Apple's leadership well enough, like I do Samsung's, to guess. But I would guess that Tim Cook probably still has a few more good years left in him. If I had to guess, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know tons about their leadership team. I know Samsung's leadership team very deeply since I cover them for a living. But Phil Schiller seems like a pretty good guess. But he wasn't even at the Apple event. Did Phil Schiller leave Apple? I don't know. I didn't even look that up. I know Phil Schiller. Like, is he still? Oh, maybe he's not. Did he leave? Did he leave Apple? He's an Apple fellow, so maybe not Phil Schiller. I don't follow. I gotta follow their leadership more closely. But he would seem like the guy that I would bet to take over. We really need someone to take over for TM Rowe for sure. I'd be okay with a lot of different people within Samsung doing that. Let's get Sally to take over for TM Rowe. I mean, I like Sally. I think she does a great job, but she's not really probably going to ever step into that role. But she does a good job with One UI. I'm a fan of Sally. Let's just bring DJ Ko back. That's what the people really want. Bring him back. Let's go. We'll charge other iPhones doesn't fit because of the camera bump. Well, that makes sense. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't fit on Samsung cases because of this camera ring here. If you put a wallet on here, half the time it won't fit properly. I have a charger. Check out this basis charger right here. Like, you see how this, like, it covers part of the bottom camera. This happens with a lot of them. If you put them in the right spot, it's going to cover part of that bottom camera. Yeah. It definitely does get in the way if you try to use that camera as well. Samsung really needs to fix that because it looks like this could potentially be a problem on the S26 Ultra as well. So very possible there. Oh yeah, I saw that as well. I don't remember their name though. I probably need to.
Phil Schiller, no, he did not leave Apple. He did the fellow.
But he's a fellow now, yeah.
He did it in 2020, seeing that he wants to just make more time for his friends and family.
Yeah. So I guess he's not going to be.
No.
So that's incorrect. But like I said, I don't follow Apple enough to know their leadership enough. That's why I wouldn't predict. Obviously, I think in terms of TM Rowe's successor, the guy who took over from design, I forgot his name, the guy from Mercedes-Benz, he seems like a pretty good potential successor to TM Rowe. That might not be good, though, because I think he's ruining some of the stuff right now. He's focusing too much on slimming stuff down, industrial design, and not focusing on adding features. So I really would not like to see him
take over with innovation. Like, I don't know, just bringing back that innovation brand that Samsung had.
For sure, yeah. That's why we need DJ Ko back. You know, someone wake up DJ Ko, because that's my president. That's my president of Samsung Mobile. Let's get him back in the house, fire it up. Let's bring some innovation back to this industry. Are there any updates to DeX and One UI 8 that you think are worth mentioning? On the tablets, there definitely are. They also I think they're bringing that same desktop mode to DeX when you connect it to a monitor as well, the new desktop mode. But it's not as impactful because, of course, on the tablet, you can add a desktop and do everything on there instead of having to enter DeX mode, which was kind of slow before. But there's some changes to the way like the windowing works, like your toggles for minimization and stuff, the snap left and snap right. They definitely made some changes to DeX. We actually did a little article, let me find it, that details all those changes. We've done an article and everything. This SammyGuru site's pretty good. You guys
no, it really is.
You guys should go check it out. It's not bad at all. Basically, they reinvented DeX a little bit using the classic Android desktop mode, but unfortunately, that kind of makes it a little bit worse. You guys can read about it right there. And they basically adopted Google's desktop mode for One UI 8, and that's what kind of makes it a downgrade, just because it doesn't have as many features as the old DeX mode. It's actually pretty nice though, because it does bring greater app compatibility with DeX, so you don't have as many like weird sizing issues when you're using DeX, and you also no longer have to put, developers are going to be able to optimize their apps for DeX a little bit better because it's officially based on the Android desktop mode and not a secondary thing that Samsung is building on top of it. So, you know, depending on how you look at it, it could be a downgrade because it changes some of the things that Samsung was doing with DeX. But I think it actually could, in the end, be a pretty good thing.
Yeah.
I can definitely tell you that the desktop mode on the tablets is a huge improvement.
Yeah, no, it
because
really
being
good.
able to have these, you know, being able to have this entire desktop. Let me see if I can show it. There's a desktop right there. Like you can create your own desktop, and basically, when you're in the desktop, everything works like, you know, like a Windows machine, where you can have all those windows open and utilize them, resize them, and do whatever you want. I really enjoyed it. That's what actually has made the Tab S11 really nice to use. Aside from the hardware, just One UI 8 and the new DeX is really nice. What's the other question? Also put no restriction on the apps. Yeah. No restriction on the apps if you want to get all of your notifications in real time. Exactly. Do you think Apple have their own version of DeX? Or have split? I don't know that I ever see that happening. I could be wrong. Obviously, they have the brand new windowed version of stuff for the new iPad OS, which is great. The new iPad OS works fantastic. It's basically like a miniature Mac OS, which is very similar to what the new DeX does on the Tab S11. But I don't know that they'll ever do split screen multitasking on the iPhone. I hope I'm wrong about that. But it seemed like Steve Jobs was really opposed to that. And maybe they're trying to honor Steve Jobs' legacy by, you know, going through and doing that. Yeah, so let's see there. Was this? This is a little bit out of our wheelhouse, but I don't know if this is a tech question, but I would say I would definitely try to see your kids. I don't even tell you to get back with your wife if you guys aren't compatible, but I'll say, I'll speak from my personal experience. Luckily, my wife and I are still together, but if we were not, I would not personally be able to go without seeing my kids, or at least putting in the effort to see my kids, independent of what I had going on with my wife. If we couldn't be agreeable, you know, if they were trying to stop me from seeing my kids, I would legally put in the effort to see my kids. That's all I'll say. I don't want to make this about relationship advice because I'm also not a certified counselor. I just want to scramble that because otherwise YouTube will probably try to get me shut down.
Yeah. But
US
we
Mobile,
do have those fake marketing degrees.
We do, yeah. I can answer marketing questions.
Yes.
But that's a little less risky than therapy because, you know, YouTube could be like, Jeff, why are you answering these therapy questions? You know, I don't know if we should be doing that. I'll plug something. US Mobile, yes, that's right, they do. S25 Edge for $679 if you buy an annual plan on US Mobile. Make sure you buy it from SammyGuru.com. You can go over and check out our list of best wireless plan. We have an article for that, and we have US Mobile in the list. And you know, if you buy it from SammyGuru, we'll get a little bit of a kickback on that and help us, you know, keep the site going. This is our list of best wireless plans for Galaxy phones. Check that out. It's a pretty good article. What do I think about Samsung and their new 2-meter nanometer chip they put in place from Snapdragon? I don't know. I mean, Exynos always scares me a little bit. So far, it's been fine in the S25 FE this year and also on the Z Flip 7. But I'm still a little scared about it because Snapdragon is so reliable, particularly with performance in terms of thermals, gaming, at least the last few years. They've been doing a pretty good job there. So, yeah. The Pixel, US Mobile is always running really good phone deals. They are. Yeah. They have like a really good deal for the Pixel 10 as well, which is what Colin's talking about. Indeed, kids are more important than anything else. My kids are important to me. If I, you know, no matter what, I would always try to make sure I was able to see my kids if I could. I understand there's always difficult circumstances, but very new and had an iPad Pro. It's pretty nice with Good Lock. Yes, Good Lock is the way to go. If you have a Samsung phone, you should fire up the Good Lock. You know, on my channel and now going forward on the SammyGuru channel, we have tons of Good Lock content always.
Like a lot.
Samsung updates their Good Lock apps all the time. It's one of the reasons we have so much content we can make because there's like 20 updates a month on various new features are added. So there's always fun stuff to do with Good Lock. You had the iPad Pro and got the Ultra. You replaced the tablet with the Ultra, or you switched to a Samsung tablet as well? I'm curious. The iPad Pro is a great tablet. I'm not going to put down Apple's tablets. In terms of if you want a tablet that has more app compatibility, because as much as I love this tablet, the S11 works with all my Samsung stuff, but some of the apps aren't really optimized. Like for instance, Facebook, you cannot force Facebook on this to go into landscape mode. You have to do quite a bit of trickery. If you go into the desktop mode with Dex, you can force it into landscape. But if you're in the regular tablet mode, you can't really force it to landscape easily. So there's some apps, even if you turn on Samsung's Labs feature that lets you force things to landscape, it doesn't really work in practice with Facebook. Facebook is against it. Yes, indeed. Samsung is way better. I still agree. One UI is the difference, in my opinion, that makes it more usable. Yeah, they stopped applying themselves. It's true. In terms of hardware, I entirely agree. They've seemed to have, it's kind of weird because things like flip-flopped. Apple for a long time was really great at software, and their hardware didn't have that impressive of specs. And Samsung had crazy cutting-edge hardware, but TouchWiz was very difficult to use and slow. And now, One UI is like the best operating system, in my opinion. It's quite smooth. It's got all these features, but Samsung is losing on the hardware ground because they're not doing much innovation. And Apple is really innovating more on their hardware. Now their software has went to garbage. iOS 26 is not good, in my opinion. I've used the beta the entire time. On my 16 Pro Max, it's kind of laggy. Still got some bugs. The liquid glass, they refined it a little bit and it looks okay, but I'm still not a liquid glass kind of guy. So I don't think that iOS 26 is anything revolutionary. It's also weird they changed the naming to match the year, but I guess people will get over that. It's okay, man. I'm not upset about it. You know, we're here to answer. We try to answer all the questions. You know, I don't want to give an answer that's not a useful answer just because it's not my area of expertise to be answering. So yeah. Any other questions? I think we've probably got a couple minutes left. We're just gonna go for an hour. Me and Tori may try to do this every other week if people have interest, like twice a month, and see how the streams go. I may try to start doing some vertical, like shorter live streams too, when I get products, just to answer Q&As, because I thought that could be fun. So if you guys think that'd be fun, you can let me know. Like if I get a new product, just go live on the vertical for a few minutes and just show a quick unboxing live and then kind of do that. I don't know. I've been trying different unboxing formats. Unboxings are boring because my view these days, there's nothing in the boxes.
Yeah, like it's really just the device, and that's like it.
Yeah. So I tried doing the ASMR unboxings on shorts. I think people like those because there's something different. I might keep doing that because we like it. We are in fact twins.
We are.
It's a good question.
Yeah, very good question.
Separated at birth.
Yes.
But we are
found
twins.
Ourselves back together.
And here we are.
By Samsung.
Boom, right there.
Boom.
Is Samsung going to start charging for AI features? No, they're not. Not for Galaxy I. They said they're not planning to do that now. At least not Galaxy I. Of course, it's very possible that they add new types of AI stuff that's not in the current Galaxy I suite that they charge for. So never say never. Anybody can charge for anything. This is the tech world. But at least for now, I don't think they're planning to do that. Any other questions people have? Otherwise, in a couple of weeks, then we'll try to do the next one on the 25th. See how it goes. Appreciate everybody coming by. Subscribe to the SammyGuru channel if you're not already. Or if you're subscribed to SammyGuru, subscribe to me if you want hardware. We're going to cover the hardware and the software. Sometimes you like it hardware, and sometimes you like it software. All right. All right. I'll see you guys later.
See you guys.